Silent watchers, Lena Vasquez pressed her palm against the reinforced viewing port of the Alteron mining station's command center, watching in horror as another transport ship exploded in brilliant orange flames against the star-filled void. The peaceful mining colony that had been her home for 12 years was dying around her, and there was nothing she could do to stop it. Administrator, we've lost contact with sectors 7 and 9, reported her communications officer, Lieutenant Torres, his voice tight with barely controlled panic. The raiders have breached the outer defensive grid. Alina closed her eyes for a moment, gathering the strength that had made her one of the youngest colony administrators in Alteron history. When she opened them again, her gaze was steel. How many civilians have we evacuated to the deep shelters? Approximately 8,000, ma'am. But if they breached the main complex, ... double quotes. Torres didn't need to finish the sentence. They both knew what the Morgoth raiders did to prisoners. The stories from other worlds painted a picture of such brutality that death seemed merciful by comparison. Through the viewport, Elena could see the massive bulk of the raider ships moving closer to the station. The Morgoth Confederation was known throughout this sector of space as one of the most vicious pirate organizations in existence. They took what they wanted and destroyed what they couldn't use. But this wasn't just piracy. This was systematic annihilation. "Why are they doing this?" whispered Dr. Patricia Reeves, the colony's chief medical officer, as she joined Elena at the viewport. "We're just miners. We don't have military installations or strategic resources." Alina had been wondering the same thing. The Alteron system was remote, peaceful, and largely ignored by the major galactic powers. Their most valuable export was processed minerals for construction, hardly worth the effort of a full-scale assault. "Unless they're not here for our resources," Alina realized, her voice growing cold. "They're making an example, showing other colonies what happens when they don't pay protection money." Another explosion lit up the darkness as one of their remaining defense platforms was vaporized by the raiders. Superior firepower. Alina watched 3 more ships detach from the main raider fleet, heading directly for the station. They would be inside the perimeter within minutes. "Send out a general distress signal on all frequencies," Alina ordered. "Tell anyone who can hear us that the Alteron colony needs immediate assistance. Include our population count and the nature of the threat." Torres looked at her with sympathy. "Ma'am, the nearest Confederation patrol is 3 weeks away. Even if they received our signal and responded immediately." "I know," Alina said quietly. "But we have to try. Maybe someone else will hear us. Maybe someone else will care." What Alina didn't know was that someone had been listening all along, deep in the outer system, hidden among the asteroid belt that surrounded Alteron's sun. A sensor array no larger than a personal shuttle recorded every detail of the attack. The information was immediately transmitted via quantum entanglement to a receiving station, located 18,000 light-years away, in a solar system most of the galaxy had never heard of. Commander David Chen sat alone in the observation post that Earth had designated Monitor Station Alpha 7, one of thousands of similar installations scattered throughout known space. For 15 years, he had watched and recorded, gathering intelligence on galactic affairs while maintaining absolute secrecy. Earth's policy was clear: observe, but do not interfere. Learn about the galaxy's inhabitants, but remain hidden until humanity was ready to emerge. The distress signal from Alteron changed everything. Chen studied the tactical display, showing the raider assault with professional interest that quickly turned to anger. The Morgoth Raiders were known to Earth's intelligence services as one of the most brutal organizations in this sector. Their methods were documented in painful detail: complete slaughter of adult males, enslavement of females and children, and systematic torture of anyone who resisted. 8,000 innocent people were about to die, and Chen had the power to prevent it. He activated his secure communication link to Earth Command, knowing that his next words would change human history forever. Command, this is Monitor Station Alpha 7. I am reporting a Code 7 emergency situation. Request immediate authorization for active intervention. The response came back within minutes, carrying the authority of the highest levels of Earth's government. Commander Chen, you are authorized to activate Response Protocol Omega. Admiral Martinez has been notified and is preparing the intervention. Fleet, maintain observation and provide tactical support. Chen felt a mixture of relief and anticipation as he watched the tactical display. Humanity was about to announce its presence to the galaxy, and they would do so by saving innocent lives from monsters who preyed on the weak light years away. Admiral Sarah Martinez stood on the bridge of the F's Thunderbolt, the flagship of humanity's deep space fleet. Around her, the most advanced warships ever built by human hands were powering up their engines and preparing for humanity's first military action beyond their own solar system. Martinez had spent her entire career preparing for this moment. The daughter of refugees who had fled Earth's resource wars, she had dedicated her life to ensuring that humanity would never again be helpless in the face of those who used violence against the innocent. The fleet under her command represented decades of development, incorporating technology that the galaxy had never seen. Admiral, all ships report ready for jump to hyperspace, announced her tactical officer, Commander Patricia Hayes. We can reach the Alteron system in 6 hours. Excellent, Martinez replied, her voice carrying the quiet confidence that had made her one of Earth's most respected military leaders. Signal all ships. We are not going to war. We are going to rescue people who cannot rescue themselves. Remember your training, follow the rules of engagement, and show the galaxy what humanity stands for. The fleet's composition was carefully chosen for this first contact scenario. Instead of the massive dreadnoughts that Earth could deploy, Martinez had selected vessels designed for precision operations: fast destroyers, assault cruisers, and specialized rescue ships. But each vessel carried technology that would seem miraculous to most galactic civilizations. As the human fleet prepared to jump to hyperspace, Alina Vasquez was fighting a losing battle to keep her people alive. The raiders had breached the station's outer hull in 3 places, and Morgoth warriors were advancing through the corridors with systematic brutality. Her security forces, brave but outgunned, were falling back toward the civilian shelters. Administrator, we're receiving a response to our distress signal, Torres called out, his voice filled with desperate hope. Alina rushed to the communications console. Who is it? Confederation forces. Unknown, ma'am. The signal is heavily encrypted, but the computer has managed to decode part of it. Torres looked up at her with confusion. It says, help is coming. Protect your people for 6 more hours. Earth remembers those who stand against the darkness. Earth, Alina had never heard of any world by that name. Is it some kind of code? Before Torres could answer, the main blast doors to the command center exploded inward. Morgoth warriors, in powered armor, stormed through the breach, their weapons already trained on the human defenders. Alina reached for her sidearm, knowing it was useless against their equipment, but determined to die fighting. The lead raider removed his helmet, revealing the scarred, reptilian features typical of his species. "I am Commander Vask of the Morgoth. Third Fleet. You will surrender immediately, or your people will suffer before they die." Alina stood straight, meeting the alien's predatory gaze without flinching. "I am Administrator Alina Vasquez of the Alteron colony. My people are under my protection, and I will not surrender them to slavers and murderers." Vask laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "Your bravery is admirable, but pointless. Look around you, Administrator. Your defenses are broken, your ships are destroyed, and your people are trapped. No one is coming to save you." Alina thought about the mysterious message from Earth and felt a spark of defiance. "You're wrong. Help is coming." "From where?" Vask gestured to the tactical display showing the empty space around Alteron. "There are no military forces within weeks of this system. Your Confederation has abandoned you, just as they abandon all the weak and defenseless." What Vask didn't see was the subtle distortion in space that appeared at the edge of the system. Invisible to Morgoth sensors, but detected immediately by the hidden human monitoring station. Commander Chen watched with professional satisfaction as 14 human warships dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation. Admiral Martinez studied the tactical situation from her command chair, her experienced eye taking in every detail. Of the raider deployment, the Morgoth had positioned their ships to prevent any escape from the mining station. But their formation was designed to fight conventional galactic warships. They had no idea what was coming. Signaled the raider fleet. Martinez ordered. Informed them that they are in violation of interstellar law and must withdraw immediately. Any harm to civilian populations will be met with immediate and overwhelming force. The response came quickly, broadcast on all frequencies so that everyone in the system could hear it. Warlord Crix, the Morgoth fleet commander, spoke with the arrogance of someone who had never faced a serious challenge. "Unknown vessels, you are interfering in legitimate Morgoth operations. Withdraw immediately or be destroyed. We have 47 warships against your pathetic force of 14. Your choice is simple, flee or die." Martinez smiled grimly. The Morgoth were about to learn why Earth was called a death world and why. Humans were the apex predators of a planet that had tried to kill them for millions of years. "All ships," she broadcast to her fleet, "remember the mission. Neutralize the raider threat, protect civilian lives, and show the galaxy what humanity can do when the innocent are threatened. Execute Operation Salvation." The storm arrives. Space around Alteron transformed into a theater of war unlike anything the galaxy had ever witnessed. The human fleet moved like a single organism, each ship perfectly coordinated with the others. In a display of tactical precision that should have been impossible for vessels that had never fought together before. Captain Marcus Webb commanded. The destroyer F's Lightning leading the first wave of the human assault. His ship, barely half the size of the smallest Morgoth vessel, accelerated toward the enemy formation at velocities that should have crushed his crew. But human engineering had solved problems that other species considered impossible. Target. The raider ships threatening the mining station. Webb ordered his weapons officer. Disable their engines and weapons, but minimize casualties. We want prisoners who can tell us about other Morgoth operations. The Lightning's weapons were unlike anything in the galactic arsenal. Instead of the massive energy cannons favored by most species, human ships carried precision tools designed to neutralize threats with surgical accuracy. Focused particle beams sliced through raider armor like it was paper. while electromagnetic pulse weapons disabled their systems without killing their crews. Warlord Crix watched in growing disbelief as his ships began losing power and drifting helplessly in space. "What kind of weapons are these?" he demanded of his tactical officer. "Our sensors can barely detect their energy signatures." "Unknown, Warlord. The aliens appear to be using directed energy weapons of an entirely new design. Our shields are useless against them." But the truly shocking revelation came when Crix realized that the human ships were not trying to destroy his fleet. They were systematically disabling every Morgoth vessel with a precision that spoke of absolute confidence in their abilities. It was not just superior technology, it was superior tactics, superior training, and superior understanding of warfare. Itself, inside the mining station, Alina watched through the viewport as impossible things happened in the space around her home. The raiders who had seemed invincible were being neutralized by vessels she couldn't identify. Ships that moved like living creatures and fought with a coordination that seemed telepathic. Commander Vask had also seen the battle unfolding outside. His scarred features were twisted with rage and disbelief. "Impossible. No species has technology this advanced." "Apparently one does," Alina replied, unable to keep the satisfaction out of her voice. "I suggest you surrender before they decide to stop being gentle." Before Voss could respond, the lights in the command center flickered and went out. Emergency power kicked in a moment later, but Alina could hear the sounds of fighting coming from the corridors outside. But these were not the sounds of her people being slaughtered. These were the sounds of professional soldiers executing a precise rescue operation. The blast doors opened again, and figures in dark armor moved into the command center with fluid efficiency. Elena's first thought was that more raiders had arrived, but she quickly realized her mistake. These warriors moved differently. Whether Morgoth had been brutal and clumsy, these beings flowed like water around obstacles, their weapons trained. On threats with mechanical precision, the lead figure approached Alina, removing a helmet to reveal features that were surprisingly familiar. Human features, but not quite like any human Alina had ever seen. The woman's eyes held depths of experience that spoke of a lifetime spent in dangerous places, and her voice carried authority that could not be questioned. "Administrator Vasquez, I am Captain Rebecca Stone of the Earth Defense Force. My team is here to escort you and your people to safety." Earth Defense Force. Alina had never heard of such an organization. "What star system are you from?" Captain Stone's expression softened slightly. "That's a long story, Administrator. Right now, we need to focus on getting your people out of harm's way. My soldiers are securing the station, but I want you and your staff moved to our ships as quickly as possible." Alina looked around the command center, seeing her people's faces filled with hope for the first time in hours. "All of them. You can evacuate 8,000 people." "Ma'am, we didn't come here to save some of your people. We came here to save all of them." The evacuation was a masterpiece of military logistics. Human transport ships docked with the mining station at multiple points, while assault teams moved through the corridors with practiced efficiency. Every Morgoth raider was captured or neutralized, while every civilian was located and escorted to safety. Dr. James Liu, Earth's leading xenobiologist, worked alongside Alina to coordinate the evacuation. His gentle manner and obvious concern for the colonists' welfare made a strong impression on the Alteron administrator. "Your people," Alina said, as they worked together, "they're different from any species I've encountered. Where did you come from?" Liu paused in his work, considering how to answer. We come from a world that taught us to be strong, administrator. A world that showed us the value of protecting those who cannot protect themselves. Alina watched human soldiers helping elderly. Colonists board transport ships, their power armor designed to be as gentle as it was deadly. You could have ignored our distress call. Why did you come? Because that's what our kind does, Lee replied simply. We don't abandon people who need help. In space, the last of the Morgoth warships was surrendering to Admiral Martinez's fleet. Warlord Crix found himself aboard the human flagship, staring at beings he didn't understand. The humans showed no interest in gloating over their victory or displaying their prisoners as trophies. Instead, they treated their captives with a professionalism that was somehow more intimidating than any torture could have been. You defeated my entire fleet without destroying a single ship, Crix said to Admiral Martinez. Why? Martinez studied. The Morgoth commander with eyes that had seen too much of war and violence. Because dead enemies can't tell us about the innocent people they've hurt. You're going to help us find every Morgoth slave camp, every raider base, every operation that preys on defenseless civilians, and then we're going to shut them down. You cannot police the entire galaxy, Crix protested. There are thousands of raider groups, hundreds of slaver organizations. You are only one species. Martinez smiled, but there was no warmth in it. You're right, we are only one species, but we're very good at what we do. As the human fleet prepared to depart Alteron space, taking their prisoners and leaving behind a colony saved from destruction, Alina stood in the observation deck of the transport ship that would carry her people to safety. Captain Stone approached her, carrying a datapad that contained information Alina wasn't sure she was ready to receive. Administrator, I need to explain some things about what happened here today, Stone said. Earth has been observing galactic civilization for decades, learning about the various species and their cultures. We've remained hidden because we wanted to understand the galaxy before announcing our presence. Alina studied the human captain's face, seeing honesty and something that might have been regret. But you came when we called for help. We couldn't stand by and watch innocent people die when we had the power to save them. Today was humanity's first official contact with galactic civilization, and we wanted it to be for the right reasons. Alina thought about everything she had witnessed, the precision of the rescue operation, the care taken to minimize casualties even among their enemies, the obvious concern for civilian welfare that had driven every decision. What happens now? Captain Stone looked out at the stars, where human ships were already spreading out to begin their next missions. Now the galaxy learns that Earth's children are here, and that we're not going to let the strong prey on the weak. There are going to be consequences for what we did today. Some species will see us as a threat to their way of life. Others will welcome us as allies. And your people, what do they want from the galaxy? Stone turned back to Alina with a smile that was genuinely warm. The same thing every decent species wants, Administrator. A chance to live in peace, to explore the stars, and to protect those who need protection. The galaxy is about to become a much safer place for people like your colonists. As the human fleet departed Alteron space, carrying the rescued colonists to safety and their Morgoth prisoners to justice, news of the encounter spread throughout known space at light speed. The galaxy was about to learn that a new power had emerged from the unknown regions, a power that possessed technology beyond anything previously seen, and a moral code that would not tolerate the abuse of innocence. On distant worlds, slave markets fell silent as news spread of the Morgoth fleet's defeat. Pirate bases began reinforcing their defenses and looking over their shoulders for ships that could appear without warning. Politicians and military leaders called emergency sessions to discuss how this new factor would change the balance of power. But on one small mining colony, 8,000 people were alive because someone had answered their call for help. Elena Vasquez would spend the rest of her life telling the story of the day Earth's children revealed themselves to save people they had never met, simply because it was the right thing to do. The galaxy would never be the same. Asterisk.